Anger in America is on the rise. Their lives forever changed when rage took aim on a Texas interstate.
They said, your husband has been shot, died at the hospital.
And nobody's identified the suspect at all.
It's Walmart to pull this off.
It was 9 o'clock at night. She wanted cake for 120 people the next morning.
With fresh red roses.
I just think you could have made it happen if you wanted to.
That's the worst attempt at an apology I've ever heard. Well, I have a question for you. Do you find yourself getting fed up faster these days? Yes. Does frustration start building as you feel your chest tighten, your heart race, your muscles tense, and your palms sweat? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Anger in America is on the rise, but as people seem to snap quicker, it can have a dark side. Tonight, we're going to talk about compelling stories of anger that have actually led to death threats, CPS threats, and losing jobs. Take a look.
I don't know who the you think you are, but I'm the wrong mother. I'm the wrong mother.
I'm done with it. I'm gonna start kicking some serious ass.
What happens when that rage gets behind the wheel? Well, that's when things can really turn deadly. Now, data from 2022 revealed that a person was shot and either injured or killed in a road rage incident every 16 hours. Now, Christina and Caroline are all too familiar with that statistic. This mother and daughter saw their lives forever changed when rage took aim on a Texas interstate.
On February 11th, 2021, my dad, Chris, was traveling from Tyler, Texas to Abilene, Texas on Highway I-20.
Around 4 p.m. on that day, there was a knock at the door, and it was to Dallas Police Department detectives. They informed me that my husband, Chris, had been shot.
There was a witness. They called 911 and said that 2 cars were weaving in and out of traffic. They saw a car pull up next to my dad's, shoot him, and then speed off. And my dad's car just drifted into the median, and that was that.
He died at the hospital.
Detectives suspect that my dad was killed in a road rage incident. They believe the shooter was driving a silver SUV.
There have been no persons of interest or arrests made in the case. It's still unsolved homicide.
To know that the person who did this is still out there is a really scary thought.
I really do think that everyone driving has a gun in their hand and they're just waiting to shoot somebody. It's very frightening.
It can happen again, and it can happen to anyone.
We miss him. He's still here with us in our hearts, but we really wish that he was here physically.
Well, it's good to meet you both, but I'm sorry for the circumstance.
Yeah.
You say you thought your dad was in a big 133-car pileup, right?
Yes.
Because there had been this big pileup on I-20 when these officers came to your door. Take me through that moment.
We were home from school that day. I said, Mom, there's 2 people at the door. They didn't look familiar, so she just went and opened the door. And she had been out there for roughly 20 minutes, and I was like, thinking in my head, something's not right. So I went and checked on her. And this was after we had been watching the pileup happen and all the news coverage on that. And I opened the door and she turned around like her world just ended right there. And I said, is it Dad? And she's like, was trembling and said yes. And I said, is he dead? And she was like, I don't know yet. And my little brother was at the top of the stairs and heard it. My heart stopped. We all heard it, and just from there on, we went and sat with our older brother who has special needs in our living room, and we prayed and said, please let him come home okay and safe, and it was a heavy day.
I can only imagine. How did they explain this to you?
The detectives, first of all, were trying to figure out if they were at the right house, so they were asking a lot of questions because his wallet was actually with him at the hospital. So once they determined that they were at the right house, they said, your husband has been shot and died at the hospital.
And they had no understanding as to why?
At that time, they didn't. They just wanted to make sure that we knew that he had been killed because they were putting it out in the news that night.
And so the 911 calls from a passerby, somebody saw the
Yes.
shooting?
Yes. We're very grateful that somebody took the time to call 911 and let them know what they saw, so that hopefully that's how we were able to find out who the suspect's car is.
And all they knew is it's like a silver SUV?
Yes.
But no license plate, nothing.
No.
And to this time, it's been how long? And nobody's identified the suspect at all?
Nothing.
Almost 3.5 years since he was shot and killed. Seems like it was just yesterday. It really does.
And we think about what happened, and who knows what occurred at the time? What difference it make? Somebody flies into a rage and doesn't even think about everything that unfolds after that. How many lives are impacted? How much is taken away in that flash of a moment because somebody chooses to lose their temper and blow up in that time and not even think about what's going on, that somebody has to live with that, spouses and children and parents and other loved ones every day for the rest of their lives, because there'll never be another moment, another day with this person was so important in your lives.
Absolutely. I believe it's extremely selfish for someone to think that something so minor is so important that they pull a gun on someone and shoot them and kill them, especially it's never justifiable. And the fact that it happened in broad daylight, the 911 call was around 1:04 p.m. Since they're still out there and we don't know who did this awful thing, what is stopping them from doing it again? Nothing.
Exactly. Joining us in the audience are Daniel and Krista, whose story also made national headlines after their 17-year-old daughter, Louise, was shot and killed by an angry driver. Also with them is the surviving passenger, Johnny. Thank you guys for being here. I mean, you know what this feels like, right?
Yes, Dr. Phil. Nothing that happens on a roadway deserves a death sentence. Nothing. No matter if it's a collision or if it's a cutoff or if you didn't use the signal right, nothing deserves a death sentence.
What happened at the time? I mean, you were there, what was going on?
She had just swerved to avoid an accident in front of her and inadvertently cut somebody off, and they pulled up beside her and unloaded a magazine, about 7 to 8 rounds. And one bullet had struck her in the heart. And even as she was bleeding out, she was able to pull her car over safely and save Johnny's life and other people out on the road that night.
At the time, I'm sure somebody felt offended, in some way disrespected, whatever words you want to put with it. But if you think about all of this now, I wonder if they had it to do over again, what they would think. Are they that angry? Are they psychopaths? Do they not realize what's happening? Do they intend to kill somebody? Are they just in a blind rage at the time? And that's what we have to ask ourselves about what's going on. It's just so senseless. And Daniel's letter to Louise's killer said, "To my daughter's killer, you're a coward, but unlike how you've taken Louise's life, we have taken yours. You will have to live the rest of your life having to wonder who might turn you in. Please help get this animal off your streets. Imagine this car riddled with bullet holes, seeing news segments with your child covered with a sheet laying on the roadway. Imagine your daughter on the side of the freeway taking her last breaths. Those are the images that play through my mind every night as I try to sleep. And the image I see every time I close my eyes or visit her grave. People just don't think about how this just keeps going and going.
That's right. Tomorrow she would be 18, Dr. Phil.
I heard your story and it just broke my heart because we know exactly what you're going through. I'm so sorry that it happened to y'all. I wish that our story could have maybe stopped that person from doing that. So I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It's definitely unimaginable. You don't think it's ever going to happen to you. You see it on the news and you think it's going to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happens to you and it just feels very unreal every day. I still wake up and I think, is this our life right now? Is she really gone?
I feel your pain. I feel your pain in a different way, obviously, because it wasn't my child. But our lives will never be the same.
Yeah.
There will always be a void. You know, we are afraid to drive on our highways, and because if it can happen to us, it can happen to anyone, and it is happening. And we have to figure out a way as a nation to stop this anger on the road.
Mm-hmm. It can be done with
Public awareness campaigns, whether it's having billboards on the side of a highway or doing a partnership with Google Maps or Waze and having a message pop up, just reminding you to be patient on the road and foster an understanding of people. Everyone has a place to go. Everyone has people to go home to. It's so important that everyone just takes a deep breath, before they get behind a wheel, no matter what they're feeling, so that we don't run into these incidents where one wrong move and someone's shooting a gun in your car. I genuinely believe if you're shooting a gun in someone's car, you're doing that to kill someone. And it's absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
And horrible. And I also saw your story right when it happened, and it just touched me so much because I was right around Luisa's age when it happened to my dad, and I can just only imagine the wonderful life she had coming her way. And it's unfortunate that this had to happen, but I'm glad y'all are here and able to share your story too.
Thank you.
Well, I hope this gives everybody pause. But I thank both of you for sharing this story. Coming up, we're going to talk to a small business owner who got death threats for just standing up to an unruly customer. With the holidays around the corner, I've found the perfect gift to make your loved ones feel special: Cozy Earth. I'm wrapping my family in the ultimate comfort and sharing why you should too. A silent night starts with the right sheets. Cozy Earth bamboo sheet set turns everyday luxury into unparalleled comfort, making every night a serene escape. For holiday pajamas, Cozy Earth's women's bamboo pajama set and men's pajamas are stylish, super comfortable, and ideal for festive mornings or lazy evenings. So soft, they feel like wrapping yourself in a cloud. What sets Cozy Earth apart? Their temperature-regulating fabrics and 10-year warranty ensure these gifts last for many holidays to come. Wrap the ones you love in luxury with Cozy Earth. Head to cozyearth.com/Phil. Use my code Phil for up to 40% off. That's right, up to 40% off. How amazing is that? Just go to cozyearth.com/Phil. And don't forget, if you get a post-purchase survey, say you heard about Cozy Earth from Dr. Phil podcast. We're talking about how anger in America is on the rise. Now, Cassie owns a bakery and says she's constantly dealing with demanding customers, one of which she recently actually caught on tape.
I'm just trying to explain to you, I cannot fix this for you. I can't help you. It's just, I can't do it in that amount of time.
You realize that I am the one with the money, right? And you're not.
Ma'am, that was incredibly rude, but
I need to pay for 120 for tomorrow. I need to have this done.
it's not going to happen with me, but there are other bakers around the city that can help.
It's Walmart could pull this off, but they're not.
Did you, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Did you say bitch?
I did.
Okay, you know what? The only bitch is you, because you've sat here and basically made fun of the fact that everybody else on the planet doesn't have any money but you. I'm the wrong mother. I'm the wrong mother. And it's past 9 o'clock at night. I've got to do. Do you understand me? And it's not to make a cake for you. It's not to make a cake for you. Do you understand to lose this number? That was crazy. She's crazy.
So you're in bed at night, just ready to
Yes.
call it a day.
Yep. I just put my autistic son to sleep, and just as being a military family, we have a lot of numbers that are random that we always answer to make sure it's not someone that we need to take care of or make sure we know what's going on. And I just assumed it was someone we knew.
It was 9 o'clock at night. And she wanted cake for 120 people the next morning.
Yes, sir. With fresh red roses from a florist.
Well, that went without saying. I just assumed that was part of the deal.
Yeah. Which normally takes me about 2-3 days, but if I'm by myself.
Yeah. You were incredibly patient with her. This wasn't a customer. You didn't know her.
This woman was fired from another baker, and I hadn't known that at the time. And that's why she was a little desperate, as you could hear on the phone. And so it turned into a situation where I was just trying to help her find somebody that could maybe help her, but I kind of knew it was an impossibility.
And you asked your husband to record the call. Why?
Honestly, we've been recording a lot of our situations that are going on like this due to cancel culture. People make up things, lots of lies to fit their narrative. But the thing is that I am very professional. I do my best to help people. If she would have approached me differently, I would have tried to make 120 cupcakes overnight.
Yeah, you seem to have a bitch button.
I do.
Because that seemed to switch things for you when she threw that into the mix. What was it? Walmart could do this?
Yes.
That switched things for you.
Yes.
And then Fangs came out, which I actually liked. I thought.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
What was it about that particular phraseology she chose that turned things for you?
Well, it wasn't my first rodeo with people treating me this way or talking to my assistants this way. If we're not available, they like to call us names. They don't understand the amount of time it takes. We're not able to just bake a cake and slap buttercream on it and call it a day. We're making very specific cakes for someone.
I think you cleared it up for her pretty well. You cleared it up for her.
I tried. I did try.
Yeah, you got a lot of comments about this because you did post it, and
I did. I asked my husband if I should, and
yeah, you blank. It can't take that long to make a damn cake. Just add me to the list. Don't you have more help? No, I don't want an assistant make it. They probably suck. You make it. I will leave the worst review if you don't. Either fit me in or I'll have all of my friends leave a horrible review. You get threatened because people get, they put things off, then get desperate?
I'm not really sure what they do, but I'm just the wrong one. So as a business owner, I'm going to protect myself and my employees and my family, and I'm also going to hold strong boundaries for myself.
Yeah, you were clear on that. Then you got a lot of supportive comments.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, I love you. That was awesome. I think you handled that beautifully because I would have cussed her out. We all stand by what you said. Ma'am, you just healed my customer service soul. So are we all giving 5 stars? That was incredible. Some customers are just unhinged. I mean, we see people even walking into fast food places, they're throwing hot coffee on people. They're coming over counters and hitting people. There's just no respect. There's no boundary.
No, not at all.
Yeah, at some point you gotta say enough's enough, too much is too much, and she went too far.
Yes.
She called to apologize.
Oh, my fans lovingly call that the non-apology video.
Yeah, we'll show you that next. I'm talking with Cassie, who went viral for standing up to an angry customer with unrealistic expectations. Soon after she posted the video, the same customer called back to apologize. Now, sort of, and understand, when she posted this video, She didn't identify the woman. She didn't say who she was. She didn't give her phone number. She didn't give her name. That was not an issue here, correct?
No, I don't agree with doxing or anything.
Yeah, and so the woman's voice is just anonymous on the other end of the phone. And the woman saw it and decided that she should call and apologize, sort of.
Well, I know you're not going to take that video down, so I apologize if I came off as entitled or rude like people stated I did.
No, I'm not going to take the first one down because I do think that it's vital that people understand that it's not cool to treat people like this regardless of situations.
I mean, I still think you could have taken my order because of the money, but it would have been better customer service. I just think you could have made it happen if you wanted to.
That's the worst attempt at an apology I've ever heard. Not, I own this, I did something I shouldn't have done. There was zero. And then she says she still could have taken my order.
Yeah.
She still could have gotten out of bed and whipped up a cake for 120 people.
Yep, like it was nothing. And I'm not from Fantasia. I can't do that. I don't have anything to help me.
And then did she hang up?
She did hang up on me, yes.
That was probably the smartest thing she's done since she met. Because I thought this was going off the rails again.
It was, yes. I just said that we were not a good fit for each other, and I hope we both understand that. And she said, no, I understand you're not a good fit for me, and hung up on me.
Yeah. And that was true. You're right.
Absolutely,
that would not be good.
No.
Now, you said you've had rocks thrown at the door because you were unavailable?
Yes.
You've had to have the cops come?
Yes.
Are these like brides or something?
No, I've never really had an unruly bride, to be honest with you. And this was the nicest, I guess they call them Karens. This was the nicest one that we've had, the one that we were showing. So if
Really?
that tells you anything, yeah, nicest one.
Well, yeah, that tells me a lot. So when this happens and people get this upset, do you try to make them happy, but when you just can't, right? I mean, it's like...
Right, no, I mean, I explain, and as calmly as I can, as professionally as I can, that I cannot help you because we are booked 2 to 3 months in advance, and I have that everywhere. I make sure everybody knows that. There's no mistaking that. I'm not hiding it. So they know to book with us in advance, but some people, they just want what they want.
Yeah.
Right when they want it.
Really, you do teach people how to treat you. And
yes.
And you have to do that. You have to stand up for yourself.
And I want to make sure that people just know that you attract more flies with honey. If you treat people with kindness, you probably will get a little bit further. And I would have been happy to help that customer as much as I could, even if I did stay up all night, which I have done before.
Yeah, well, thank you for telling your story. Did you bring me a cupcake?
I didn't, but I should have.
Damn it. Damn it.
I'll send you one.
Yeah, sure, in 3 months.
I'll send you cake pops.
We're just not a good fit. You bring me a cupcake or you don't. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
A school bus driver in Ohio can relate to Cassie getting fed up. She's been driving students for 15 years and says she's usually calm as a cucumber, but when the teens continue to not follow her rules, well, she just snapped.
I didn't do anything. They know I can
smell it.
I didn't do anything. I didn't spray anything.
I'm sick of you. I'm sick of all of this. I'm done with it. I'm gonna start kicking some serious ass. Do you hear me?
Yes.
My foot's gonna be so far up your ass, it's gonna dangle at your nose. I'm done with you. That phone in your bag. Now you give it to me.
All right, fine.
Done.
It's going in.
Dang it, I can smell it.
I didn't spray anything.
I'm allergic to this.
I didn't spray anything.
I'm done with this. Done. I've had my fill. I'm done with it. I'm ready to walk off this bus right now and let you people walk the home. How much more do you think anybody can freaking take? Shut your mouth. I don't want to hear another word out of your mouth.
Well, the bus driver, Jackie, says what you just saw was a culmination of years worth of frustration with a group of students who purposely pushed her buttons.
I was a school bus driver for about 15 years. At the beginning of every school year, I instruct my children not to use any type of colognes, perfumes on the bus because I am triggered with my asthma. On March 29th, 2023, the students got on the bus and they were immediately disruptive. One of the students sprayed perfume, and that's when I snapped.
Sick of you. I'm sick of all of this. I'm done with it. I'm gonna start kicking some serious ass. Do you hear me? Dang it, I can smell it.
I didn't spray anything.
I'm allergic to this.
At that point in time, my anger was justified. Absolutely. These children can only push people so far. I had no idea that this incident was being recorded. I was shocked, absolutely shocked that it went viral. After this happened, people from everywhere were sending messages, and the words that they used were, "You go, girl," basically. Good job. I think the outpouring of support has to do with parents and administrators, teachers being so frustrated with the behavior of these students that it hit the mark. It hit right where it was supposed to.
Well, Jackie is joining us virtually from Cleveland. So, Jackie, how you doing?
Okay, I'm doing okay.
You've been driving a bus for how long?
Oh, about 15 years.
They knew about your asthma, right?
Yes, yes. At the beginning of every school year, I let the students know that they're not allowed to use perfume or cologne in the bus because I do have asthma.
And it's not a matter of being picky. This is an issue for you. You talk about it. And this was something where they actually started spraying it around in the bus, right?
Yes. This was a spontaneous act by one of the students. It was just there. She just sprayed it and didn't think of the consequences.
Yeah. So I noticed whenever you got a little upset that the students were still disrespectful.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I tried to wake them up and make them realize that this is not something that you can do. And yet it went right over their head.
Did anybody apologize? Did anybody feel bad about it at all? I mean, because I listened to the tone of the voice. I listened back over like 5 or 6 times. And it was interesting to me that they were totally unfazed, just blowing it off. Like, yeah, fine, yeah. Was that how you read it at the time?
Oh, sure, yes. Yes, because this isn't the first time I've had to discipline these students. And it has always been the same reaction, right over their head.
Well, you say you actually got a lot of support for standing your ground.
Oh, huge. The support that I received was humbling. It was incredible. So many people saying the same thing. We are frustrated. And somebody needed to stand up and say something.
Yeah, somebody started a GoFundMe for you, and they've raised like how much money?
$127,000.
Really?
Yes. Thank you.
What do you think about that?
It was a shock. I knew nothing about this. I knew nothing about the GoFundMe, nothing. And when the TV interviews started coming in, they were telling me that people were donating, and it just kept going higher, higher and higher. I was stunned.
Are you still driving a bus?
No, I'm retired.
Okay. There's a local clothing store that's making a T-shirt, and they're donating $5 of every T-shirt. And it's generated $60,000 in donations, right?
Yes.
Yeah. My foot's gonna be so far up your it's gonna dangle from your nose. What exactly inspired that comment?
It was sheer frustration. And I tried to give them a visual to understand this is not how you behave on the bus.
Just made that up on the spot, did you?
On the spot, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I know some people in Hollywood that would love you to write for them. You may not stay retired, who knows? Listen, I'm sorry that you've had the frustration, and hopefully you're enjoying your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, coming up, a woman who has an intense urge to yell, throw and break things ever since her daughter was born. We'll talk to her next. Well, Jennifer says she currently struggles with mom rage and recently posted a video online of a coping mechanism she found to be extremely helpful. Okay. When we shook hands, your hand was very cold. I was wondering if anybody here had frustrated you.
No, no one here.
Okay. All right. Who suggested this to you?
I actually saw a TikTok of a woman doing it. She was throwing ice in her bathtub and said that her therapist recommended it as a way to release her anger. And I had been struggling with this feeling of destructiveness when I got angry, and I thought I would try it, and it would be a good release for me.
And it helps?
Absolutely, yeah, it helps. Yeah. It helped me a lot. Immediately after, I felt so much more calm, and I honestly haven't had any frustration or anger since then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So are they delivering bags of ice to the house? Are they
No, that would be
trucks
nice.
backing up? What is it that gets you frustrated where you need to throw ice?
Well, motherhood is a really overwhelming job, and it can be a big responsibility, and kids will push your buttons, especially little ones. My daughter is a toddler, so she's going through her terrible twos right now. And there's situations that feel out of my control and get me just overwhelmed, overstimulated, and just frustrated not being able to control the child and control the situation. And so I find myself in situations of overwhelm, wanting to yell and throw things. And I always felt so extremely ashamed and guilty afterwards, because that's not who I want to be for my daughter. And I found other outlets to release that anger in healthier ways.
Yeah. Do you have other ways besides throwing the ice?
Well, I tried meditation, therapy, breathing techniques. I mean, I've tried it all. I've read all the self-help books. I've really put an effort into trying to control this part of myself, and nothing has compared to the ice throwing. Such a release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she know you do it?
I don't think she knows. She might have heard the commotion in the bathroom, but she was away. She was put away safely. She was not around me at all. And even afterwards, she was like, "Mommy, do you feel better?" And I was like, "Yeah, I feel so much better, baby. Thank you."
Yeah. You've had some negative comments about it.
Yeah, a lot of hate.
Someone save that baby. Are you seeing red? This would make me never want to speak to my mother ever. Just leave your kids at this point. Calling CPS. She must not like her kids that much. What do you think about those kind of comments?
I was honestly pretty shocked. Did not expect it to go that way. It's disappointing to see how many people don't understand this type of anger and what can come with the job of parenting and the type of emotions that it can bring out of you. It was just disappointing to see that people took it in such a wrong way and took it far enough to even say that I would even harm my child or be a danger to my child. It's disappointing.
Well, I think it's quite the contrary. I've studied all different kinds of therapeutic techniques. This would fall into something called experiential therapy, where people sometimes will punch a pillow. There's scream therapy. There's all different kinds of things which are evidence-based in being cathartic for someone to get things out. And people that are making those comments just don't know what the hell they're talking about at all.
Yeah.
Throw ice. If
Yeah.
it gives you calm, people do things differently.
Right.
And it works for you, right?
Yeah, it really does. And something that you have to experience to truly understand how powerful rage and anger can become, and how, as parents, we don't want to put that on our children ever.
Yeah, I think it's very constructive that you're seeking, you say you've read, studied, meditated, done things, and you found something that works for you and gets you through the tough times. And those people don't raise your child, and they don't pay your rent, and they don't get a vote.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about, rage in this country, and it goes all the way from people that feel entitled to say and do whatever they want to say and do, to people that take it to the extreme, and it's not just violating other people's rights, but it's gotten to the point of people picking up a gun, using a car as a weapon, doing things where it impacts people's lives forever. We have two very tragic examples here of road rage, which is on the rise. We've seen in the research that since we had COVID and what I call the mismanagement of the quarantine, where people were bottled up in a way that has just been unnatural and kept inside, we've seen an increase in young people and adults alike of increased aggression and increased anger, anxiety, depression, a lot of things that are really kind of hard to explain. But you've got to ask yourself, if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling rage, if you're feeling anger, why? And I can tell you this, when you're feeling anger, then it's almost always hurt, fear, or frustration, and it's just being expressed as anger. And one thing that we know for sure is when you're angry, you're at your weakest. People think actually that, boy, when I'm angry and that you're at your strongest. Boy, don't mess with him or her when they're that angry. Really, that's when you're at your weakest, because to be angry, you have to feel that you've been offended in some way, so you've got your victim hat on. Somehow or another, I've been hurt in some way, and so I'm victimized. And you've got to take your power back at that point. And one way to do that, as I mentioned earlier, is you have to teach people how to treat you. And sometimes that means you've got to be assertive. You have to assert your rights. And there's a difference between assertion and aggression. Assertion is when you protect your rights, but it's not at someone else's expense. Aggression is when you protect your rights, but it's at someone else's expense. So ask yourself, am I protecting my rights? And you should. We have to have boundaries, and we have to teach people how to treat us. And I hope you'll really give that some thought and think about the consequences of your actions. It's really important. We have two situations here where people have been tragically impacted by something that someone did that they'll live with for the rest of their lives for something that happened in a flash. And maybe that person wasn't thinking at the time, but they should have been. And you don't want to do something that has lasting effects in the flash of a moment. As I said, we see people coming across counters in fast food restaurants because somebody got an order wrong. They burn people with hot coffee for an order. I mean, come on. So think about these things before you do them. Just really hope we'll give that some thought. I want to thank you for being here tonight. And I want to thank all of you here and all of you at home. We're so glad that you've joined us on Merit TV. We have programming for the whole family. That's what we're all about. We're trying to talk about things that matter to people who care. You can download the app. It's called Merit Plus. You can get it on Google Play or the App Store. It's free. You download it and you can watch us anywhere on TV or your iPad or your phone, whatever. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.